Happy February, February 9th, 2019. Earlier today, had the opportunity to go to the first of the year executive committee meeting of the North Carolina Republican Party. I have to say that this meeting was very kind of pretty boring. But there was a huge story that broke at this meeting, and that is that Michelle Nix will not be seeking a third term as vice chair of the NCGOP. She didn't say anything about future plans, so let's just leave that to the Daily Haymaker and a few other sources out there. But they gave a nice little slide presentation of her, a lot of pictures of her and her husband, who's the current chair of the Lenore County Republican Party, and it said that she has put on 76,000 miles on her car in 4 years, has visited 88 out of 100 counties, and used 2,500 gallons of gas to go to hundreds of GOP events. What was kind of came out of left field, was not expecting this news. I expected to hear about an opponent for Robin Hayes for the chairman's race. Hopefully it'll be a race and not a coronation like it was in Wilmington back in 2011. Hopefully it'll be a race. We'll see. But I did not expect Michelle Nix to say that she's going to end her tenure as vice chair. Effective in June at the convention is when her term will end, and there'll be a new vice chair. So now the question is, who is going to run for vice chair? Well, nothing official. I mean, this story just broke today, so nothing official isn't out there yet. So it's my job as a video blogger and opinionist to try to plant some seeds out there, speculation as to who might seek vice chair. And this scenario could go one of two ways. The first way it could be is I want to be vice chair of the party because I want to be Robin Hayes. I want to be his best friend. I want to play nice with Robin in Dallas for 2 years. And then they're going to do me a favor in 2021 and not seek re-election for the chairman slot. And then I'm going to run, and I'm going to run on a positive, nice person message and win. Now, there's another direction this could go. The other direction says I'm going to run as vice chair because I want to shake the party up. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to lock horns and butt heads every day with Robin Hayes in Dallas. Okay? House Woodhouse, executive director of the NCGOP. And people are going to like this. They're going to say, hey, that's a reformer. He did a lot as vice chair. Let's go ahead and give him term. It started in 2021 as chair of the party. So we have two different situations this could possibly go. Who do I think is going to run? I can tell you this position to me seems to favor a more establishment candidate right now. Based on what I've heard and observed in the party the last 2 years, and that is ever since the Hassan Harnett controversy, there's been a lot more, a little less infight and a little more of go with the flow, status quo, expressway stuff. To me, I think this probably favors an establishment candidate getting elected. Who could these candidates be? I think I have two names right now I can think of. One is Zane Bunn, who's been district chair for several years, and also she's been in party politics since she was a college student in the late '80s. Another one is Kim Cotton West, served as district chair for a few years. Is the daughter of Joyce Cotton, aka Ma Cotton, as she's sometimes referred to. Which she's been in politics a long time. And her mother too. And that's another one. And actually, Kim Cotton West right now she's just on the executive committee as an at-large member. She stepped down from district chair in 2017, and also I think a few years before that she was chair of Washington County Republican Party out east. On the Tea Party side of things, two candidates. These are kind of a reach. One you have is Carl Miska. I have never met, but I'm Facebook friends with him. Very solid, principled conservative. But he is only finishing his first term as chair of District 3. So I'm thinking to myself, he might want another term as chair, I think. I'm more likely to seek another chair than go on. Plus, he's a fairly older fella. Don't know how old, but maybe 65, 70 or something like that. And then other candidate is actually there's two more I should say. And that is, or no, three. The brain is really clicking now, thankfully. Thinking off the cuff here. Okay. Maddie Lawson, activist from Dare County. She ran, I think, a couple times as vice chair. She was running in 2013 and then pulled out of the race, and then 2015 ran and threw her support behind Michelle Nix. This one, could Maddie do the job? Yes. Could she do a good job? Yes. One biggest issue here is she lives in Dare County. The vice chair job requires you to be in Raleigh an awful lot, at least probably once a week or so. Michelle Nix lives only like an hour from Raleigh. Maddie Lawson lives like 3 hours from Raleigh, so you can see where that could be an issue. And then two other candidates, Heather Grant of the Winston-Salem area. Haven't heard or seen a whole lot from her in about 2 years, but she ran for Senate, U.S. Senate in 2014 in the big 10-person primary that Tom Tillis eventually won. And then she was going to run in 2017 for vice chair against Michelle Nix. But on the day that the vote was going to take place, you talk about bad luck here, folks. This is what happened. She got a flat tire on the way to Wilmington and just posted that on Facebook. And we had a flat tire and everything, couldn't make it, and yeah, bad luck, but still, if I appreciate her taking the opportunity to run, but if you want to run for an office as high as the party's vice chair, you probably should have been there Thursday night, and then not wait to the day of the vote, and then have a flat tire on your 4-hour drive from Winston-Salem to Wilmington. Okay. One final candidate is a good friend of mine. That is Glenn Bradley. And he lives probably about only 30 minutes from Raleigh. Franklin, or somewhere Vance County, it's a little northeast of Raleigh, 30 minutes away. And as vice chair in 2013, finished second out of 3 people running, I believe, and then ran again in 2014. That time he lost. It was a big loss. I want to sugarcoat this. Carolyn Justice got 200 votes and he got 36, I believe. But just shows you how popular Carolyn Justice is. And gosh, what else was I going to say here? Okay, and then he ran for the legislature in 2018, lost in the primary to Lisa Barnes. Franklin County, I believe, is where he's at. Did I talk about Carolyn Justice? Oh, yeah, that's definitely a scenario that could happen. Carolyn Justice could run for vice chair. Okay, and she would be a pretty good candidate. She's kind of in that middle lane. You know, you talk to, depends who you talk to. Some people really like Carolyn Justice. She's very good. She's very friendly with the Tea Party. And you talk to some people who think she's like Elizabeth Dole's older sister or something. Miss Establishment all the way. But the thing about her and Robin would get along great. Because Carolyn Justice just gave Robin an endorsement speech 2 years ago in that situation. So that's another possibility too. Okay. Now let's get on with the rest of the meeting, the not so exciting meeting that took place today. Okay. First up, we had Mark Harris speak. And Mark Harris has always been good at firing up a crowd. Today was no different. Basically said, look, he's eager to get to DC and eager to get to work. He was actually right in the room when the meeting was beginning. Robin Hayes called him up and he gave a great speech. And also, we have a person we need to pray for, a personal friend of mine, Selena, who was the field director for the RNC in Greensboro last year. Apparently, she is battling cancer now. This is the first that I'd heard of it today. I was like, wow, because she is very, very healthy, beautiful young lady, too, very nice, in her mid-20s, and she's diagnosed with cancer. That's, whew, I mean, really just blows your mind. I mean, there's a lot. Let me just take a moment here. In each of our lives, we have things we're dealing with, right? We have bad things that we're dealing with struggles, and their life ain't perfect, right? But to think, Selena, a young lady in mid-20s, suppose it has her whole life ahead of her, and apparently she diagnosed with cancer, death, right? So you think about it, okay, well, I have an issue with this friend, and this girl won't talk to me, and work won't give me enough hours, car won't start one day, versus this person's cancer and could die at the age of 25. Okay, so just put in perspective. Mark Brody, next speaker on the agenda, the National Committee man for the RNC to North Carolina. Have you ever heard the term rocket docket? No, I haven't either. Apparently, in New Mexico, the last RNC meeting was held there in Albuquerque. And New Mexico, which used to have a Republican governor, Democrat legislature, now it's all Democrat governor and Democrat legislature. What the legislature there is planning on doing is they're going to repeal every single piece of GOP-sponsored legislation. Okay, repeal it, send a bill through the House, through the Senate, then have the governor sign it. Repeal everything, every good thing, anything GOP that they've done, they'll repeal it. And just like that. Yeah, crazy. But here's a scary thing. Here in North Carolina, okay, to take back the House, Democrats need 6 seats. Do you think that number's scary? Stick with me. You know, to get the Senate back, we need just 3. 3 seats to recapture the North Carolina Senate. Whew. And guess what? Then they can pass Rocket the Docket. It's a horrible thing. Horrible. And I asked myself, why aren't more people in the GOP talking about this? It's crazy. Miss Ida Fisher, National Committee woman, North Carolina, says, asked a couple of good questions. Was our message to the urban centers? And the guy sitting next to me said nothing, which is unfortunately the truth. And then she says money is important. She said, yes, we've raised more money in 2018 cycle than we ever have as a party. But she said the people that usually get elected are the ones who raise the most money. So yeah, money is important, even though I kind of think I'm more about knocking on doors. And I always said fundraising is kind of a 4-letter word to me. Okay. Next, we have Phil Berger Jr., the son of the Senate President Phil Berger. He's running for Paul Newby's seat on the North Carolina Supreme Court. He currently serves on the Court of Appeals, has 8 years experience as a district attorney, and he said a brilliant quote today. He said, I will not resign 1 minute early, and I will serve my whole term. That is a little knock at Mark Martin, not the race car driver, but the Supreme Court justice who decided to resign midway through his term, go be a law professor at Regent University in Virginia Beach. Okay, leaving the Republicans with 1 justice on the Supreme Court versus what, 5 for the Democrats. Then we have Tamara Behringer, who's also running for the North Carolina Supreme Court. She served 7 years in the North Carolina Senate, and has a large background in tax and corporate legislation. And she says she's the only candidate running for the court that has lowered your taxes. She was also a former president of the Cary Republican Women's Club. And that's kind of how she got her start. She was an activist, knocked on doors, standing in the rain, hanging out voter guides on election day, and then rose up the ranks and served in the North Carolina Senate. Now she's running for the Supreme Court in North Carolina. She says judges should not legislate from the bench. I was very glad to hear that. And then we have our very brief credentials report. Out of 600 people who are served or apparently are registered in the NCGOP Executive Committee, 179 showed up. Fortunately, the quorum was only 117. It's set at 25% of the wait a minute, excuse me, no, 117, 25% of 460. I think that's how I'm reading. 460 checked in, and it was 25% of the active membership. Okay. 460 checked in, 117 was the quorum, 179 were the number of executive committee members at the meeting today. Okay. Now we have the election legal counsel, and you always say, ooh, election, this is going to be exciting. We're going to have a debate. We're going to have a vote. No, this was the most boring, dry, quick, straightforward election I've ever seen. John Lewis, congratulations to him. He was elected general counsel today of the North Carolina Republican Party, okay? And this was done via acclamation, which just means that, everybody says aye and have a nice day. Mr. Lewis is now the general counsel. He was former assistant legal counsel. And he says he's going to ensure everything is proper and we follow the rules of the party. And he's from Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, which Robin Hayes said rush hour lasts for only 30 seconds there. Okay, and then we have some strategy session led by Dallas Woodhouse, and he basically said that he wanted no media coverage of this to the audience. No tweeting, no Facebook, and of course no with Baltimore accents who have political blogs called the Conservative Pelican. That's me. He didn't actually say that. No media is no media, and I will respect his wishes. Also, we had Paul Newby, who's running for Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and he basically said no media coverage either. So we're gonna Rule 11B of Reagan's 11th Commandment. This is my, and Reagan had this rule: thou shalt not speak evil of fellow Republicans. Well, I'm at a B plank that say, thou shalt respect wishes. They don't want media coverage or Republicans to respect their wishes. Because we all know that anything that you leak out there to the media can be taken in the wrong context. And if a candidate for office doesn't want media, we're not going to cover it. We're going to respect his wishes. Okay, and the meeting adjourned at 4:07. The runtime was 1 hour and 50-minute meeting. And of course, the meeting ended. This is what just takes. I'm going to take a moment here and do meeting etiquette, okay? Something needs to change here because you start saying, one of the people sitting in the front row says, let's have a motion to adjourn. As soon as you do that, even before it's been seconded, like there's half the people are walking out the door and being disruptive, talking. And first somebody calls, we'll have announcements at the same time. What should be done is we'll need to wait, hold their horses, cool their jets until motion to adjourn is seconded, okay? Even before that, they need to say, okay, that concludes the business of the meeting. Does anybody have any announcements? They need to have time for announcements so that there's a lady today from a new group called Women for Trump was trying to get her event broadcasted to the 500 people that were there. Most people are very rude and walking out and talking at the same time. It's just, really, people, really, be respectful, okay, please. Well, for the Conservative Pelican, Bobby Crawford. Thanks for watching.